All right, Spence. So here we are. It is the greatest time of year for the Splash and for you and me because although it's a little earlier than we hoped, the Patriots season is over. And so now we get to focus on the Boston Celtics until baseball starts, which is a few months. So for us and basketball lovers, it's going to be really awesome. And for everyone else in the world, they're going to be miserable. So I kind of like it. It's going to be fun.
Feels weird that we're wording the best time of the year as the Patriots season ending. I know that's not what you were going for, but that's how it came off.
Well, but no, you know what happens because you got to be positive. Lie to yourself about everything. Pretend everything in your life is going great, and then it is. Maybe it comes up later as, some bad stuff, but, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. For now, the Boston Celtics are on a 9-game win streak, and you know what? You can't take that away from me.
This is going to be therapy for you. I feel like it. The way you're talking right now doesn't seem like you spoke to your girl in a little bit, your therapist. So I'm going to be that for you.
Oh, okay.
And you hit a really good point. The rest of the world will be miserable, and you're right. The rest of the world is about to get very miserable because we're going to be insufferable about the Celtics. We already have been, but now that we have from here until March to give it all of our focus, it's about to get real. It starts with this episode. We haven't decided if it's 54, 55. Doesn't really matter. That's for Will to work out on the back end. Thank you, Will. And we're going to get started with this glorious, well, it wasn't glorious. It was insanely ugly, brutal battle between our Celtics and our rival, I guess our budding rival in the Warriors. It was disgusting to watch. Poor decision making throughout. Shooting was terrible. It looked like a repeat of the first matchup of the year and a repeat thus of the finals to start, at least, because it looked like Tatum had ghosts, like he was seeing demons in his head. Whenever he took a shot, he ended up shooting like 9 for 27, but that's not what matters. What matters is that we walked away with a win.
A win is a win.
A win is a win is a win. Grinded out performance. Jaylen Brown comes back. You know that if we're playing Charlotte, he's not coming back, right? You know that if we're playing Houston, he's not coming back. But I applaud him because he comes back probably, you could argue, just a tad too soon from injury. But that's kind of what we love about Jaylen Brown. What do you take away from this? What's the overall highlight of this game, walking out with our first win against the Warriors since last June?
Well, like you said, it was an ugly game, but the highlight of the game isn't the game itself or any of the plays that were necessarily made or any of the individual performances. Tatum played a lot better than he did last time, but the fact that we won, right? I know we were at home, and the Warriors have been very bad, historically bad on the road this year, but the fact that we beat the defending champions who are getting back to full strength, if they're not already at full strength, the fact that we did that and were able to just push through and fight showed a lot to me. And I think that's the highlight in itself. We proved that we could win these big games.
Well, we've won big games all year, except against the Warriors. We've beaten both LA teams at this point. We have, although I don't know how big those are because both of those teams are fighting for the last spot in the West. However, we know that it's still important in that if we lose those games, we're going to be judged just as harshly as if we lost to a great team. We did lose to the 1 seed Nuggets. Wasn't proud of it, but it was also just a weird game. And, we're going to get them again later in the season. But we've seen big performances all year long from this team. It was just there was like a huge monkey on the Celtics' back. It seemed like they were never going to break through with the Warriors. they're just so much younger than the Warriors, so much less experienced. And after last summer, I mean, it seemed like it was going to be really hard for them to recover from what was a pretty ugly finals loss. You go up 2-1. We thought we were feeling pretty optimistic, and then the game 4 implosion in the fourth quarter. It seems like from that point on, everything changed. We haven't beat them since. And in the first game this year, it felt like, especially Tatum, it felt like they had his number. He shot horribly. He missed free throws. He was missing the point-blank layups, which is the thing that was inexcusable in the finals, and it followed him into this season. And that didn't happen in this game. Maybe being at home, maybe having Deuce courtside, I don't know. Maybe he just shook it off. But I think we're past it. I think he can finally go forward and say, I can be the best player in this game, which I would argue that he was. I think we might have lost Ryan, and that's okay. That's okay. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep pushing through because Ryan he's muted. That's fine. Ryan's muted. It doesn't matter. Actually, it does. Ryan, why don't you come off of mute?
Okay, sorry about that. I had a little issue on my end. It's been resolved. But
okay, we can edit it out.
Yeah, we can do that because I didn't hear much of what you were saying in that moment.
Well, maybe we leave it in. I don't know. We were just talking about the monkey off of Jason Tatum and the Celtics back. And
yeah, okay, I can talk
like
about
we
that.
are finally getting past the whatever.
Yeah, I can speak intellectually about that.
Okay.
Yeah, no, exactly, and that's kind of what I meant when I said it was a huge. The highlight of that game was to prove that we could win those big games. What I meant by that is we can beat the Warriors because that I think we talked about it last week or the week before about Jason Tatum. It was a monkey on his back, and the fact that he was able to push through that, it wasn't pretty, but the fact that it worked out and we won is such a huge thing for the team and for him, because I feel like most of Tatum's shortcomings, and he's still very young in his career, most of his shortcomings have been a lack of confidence in certain situations. You saw it in the finals. You saw it in the first game against the Warriors this year. I think he gets in his own head and kind of psychs himself out. And this was a huge step forward. It's a building block. It's kind of like situations like that, being able to overcome challenges like that made LeBron James who he is, Michael Jordan who he is. And I'm not comparing Jason Tatum to either of those two by any means at this point.
You should.
But give me one more season of the Splash and then we'll get there. But that is a huge building block for him. And I think we're going to see a lot of that through the rest of the season and through the rest of his career, having been able to finally overcome the Warriors and prove to himself that he can do it.
Well, I couldn't agree more. The biggest thing for me was the shooting from the line. 12 for 12 from the line. The fact that he was getting to the line is huge because we see him sometimes shy away in the big moments, takes the stupid step back three. It's very Jason Tatum-esque, especially of his first 2 to 3 years in the league. That was what we've begged him to get to go to the basket. You'll get fouled. So he goes to the basket all night. They do foul him, and to not miss a free throw. I mean, that's not surprising because Tatum's a phenomenal free throw shooter. But it is surprising when he plays the Warriors because you just go back a couple months ago in Golden State. I mean, he was rattled. That's what I'm saying. Just missing the easy ones, missing the point blank lays, missing the free throws. And that's when you can tell it's not a skill or a performance thing so much as it is I don't know. He was just cracking under whatever pressure he was putting himself on. And he spoke to that after the game. They asked him what was different about this time, and he went right to it. He didn't shy away from it. Said that the first time they put so much more pressure on themselves than they needed to because they wanted to prove a point after the finals, which is understandable. But this one shows that they're growing up. They're growing up and out of that. They can look past it. That being said, I've been going to war for Marcus Smart and others this year. When I say I wanted to grip Marcus Smart by the throat with 2 hands, choke slam him into the fucking parquet, I'm not joking. Whatever he was on in those last 2 plays, and Tatum's not excused either. I have beef with him. Hit Tatum's pass that went straight to Poole, and then Smart throws one that gets stolen. It's a wide open DiVincenzo 3. We're going to lose all this progress we made in this game. We're going to lose it to Dante DiVincenzo. And then you have the one he throws into the 3rd row, and Jaylen Brown, by the grace of God, just leaps out with insane athletic ability, catches it, saves it. The save goes right to Tatum, and from there we kind of, that's kind of the game from there. But I mean, we tried to blow this so many different ways. I would honestly say we probably didn't deserve that win, but it was a game that Golden State probably didn't deserve either because they were sloppy as well. So in those moments, you grind it out, and this isn't a game. This isn't a win. This isn't a game that we would have won last year, I don't think. So
no, definitely not. And I think that this team has won a lot of games that we would not have won last year, and so that's really nice to see. I would still. It's tricky because we're winning. We're on a 9-game win streak. We're doing very well. We're having leaps and bounds a better regular season than last year. But I still feel like it's kind of a miss not focusing at least a little defensively on this team. Like, I know Missoula ball offense, it's a lot of fun. It's great. But this team last year under Udoka was a defensive masterpiece. Same personnel, better personnel, and we're just lackluster on the defensive side this year. And getting better, but it's frustrating.
Since Williams has been back, in the stretch that Williams has been back, we've been the 5th rated defense. So that has been huge.
It's very true, and it's good to see because I was so we've been winning all year, but I was so disheartened to see us lose what I felt our defense was kind of who we were, and it was kind of unfortunate to see us lose that. I'm glad we're returning to form. And you mentioned Rob Williams. We're undefeated with Rob Williams starting this year, so that's something that's very good. And he's one of the I would say he's one of the best big men in the league, and at least on the defensive end. And he is such a rock on the defensive side. He's a defensive anchor, plain and simple.
The only thing that's keeping him, it kept him from it last year. Now, I'm not upset about last year because Marcus Smart won the Defensive Player of the Year, which was long overdue. This year, the only thing that's going to keep him from getting that award, that recognition, is the games played. He could still get there. He looks great. He looks like he's in it for the long haul. I know he's probably going to miss tomorrow. He's questionable for tomorrow he just hyperextended his knee in the game against Toronto. But it's not very serious. It's, if anything, he may see a game of rest. We really don't want to push it with him because we've seen how important he is. We are now 5th in defensive ratings since his return. Absolutely huge. We started this year middling, or I think we were in the low teens for defense when last year we were number 1. It was absolutely our identity under Udoka, but we're getting it back. Now we have the number 2 overall offense. I'm thrilled with the way this team is playing. I am so glad that it's been probably a good week since I've seen the hate comments for Missoula and the fire Missoula comments, which were always out of pocket.
They'll be back.
They were always out of pocket to begin with. But we're seeing the importance of this team's depth. The Brogdon pickup now feels like, what did we even give away for Brogdon? I mean, what
did we give away for Brogdon? I can't even think right now.
It was Aaron Nesmith, who, to be fair, to Nesmith's credit,
he's turned it around.
He looks pretty good in Indiana.
Yeah, definitely.
Just wasn't going to work out here. And then I think it was a 2nd-round pick. I think it was Nesmith, a 2nd-round pick, and a throw-in guy. So, AK, nothing to us. Congratulations, Aaron Nesmith. Also, congratulations, Romeo Langford, who is seeing some real moments for maybe the worst team in the league in San Antonio. It's still something. It's nice to see him get a little bit of shine.
It's fun. It's fun to see the Celtics when they, after years of trader Danny, it's nice to see the Celtics trade a player, one of their players, to a situation that benefits them instead of just absolutely screwing them over as per usual. And I know it is not necessarily intentional, but Nesmith going to Indiana, it's not terrible. It's pretty good. This is a pretty good spot for him to land. And then Langford going to San Antonio, a team that is lost. It's giving him a real opportunity to work on his game, get minutes he needed to get that he just wasn't going to get in Boston. And yeah, I love to see it. I'm excited. I'm excited to see it.
It's fun. It's fun to see our guys get some shine elsewhere when they definitely weren't going to get that shine here. That kind of brings me to a point with another young guard who I am fearful of us trading. Now, granted, I was not fearful of trading Nesmith. I was not fearful of trading Langford. That's not what I'm saying. However, I am very fearful of the possibility that we trade one of my favorite Celtics. I know he doesn't get all the minutes in the world. I wish I've been campaigning all year, just let the record show. But Peyton Pritchard, who shined in last night's game against Toronto, he only has 12 points, so you may not think much of it, but they all came in the fourth. And it came after Smart goes down, and he showed why we have him on this team. Depth. He came up huge, deep threes, great decision maker. He is a point guard's point guard, even if he is technically our third string guard. I love me some fast PP. What can I say?
Yeah, no, exactly. And you hit the nail on the head. He's a great shooter. He's a good decision maker. He's still young in his career, but he's proving that he's a reliable guy. He's not going to make those errors that a lot of players make. He's not a starter by any stretch of the imagination right now, maybe on the Spurs, but
I would argue he could start for a couple teams.
Yeah, well, okay, yeah, he could start for a couple teams, but you can't tell me, and I know we're deep at the guard spot, but you can't tell me there's not room for him in the rotation, because there is, and he should be playing, because every time he plays, he does very well, especially, when he's playing in the heat of battle and not just in garbage time, which it's terrible to see him out there in garbage time because he's not a garbage time player. But, also him being out there in garbage time. But him being out there in garbage time kind of shows how good we are. So it's kind of cool too.
We should do a ranking one day of garbage time rotations, like garbage time rankings. I think our garbage time guys are, we
got Peyton Pritchard and Blake Griffin out there.
We're seeing Luke Cornett get a lot more minutes, like actually rotation minutes. He's been good. Especially in this weird point where we're just trying to bring in Rob. Rob finished with 12 rebounds, and they all felt massive in that Warriors game. He only played 27 minutes. He played incredible defense. The Warriors could not hang with whenever Rob and Al were on the floor, and they started Jordan Poole, and they had Green at center. They got bitched. I'm not gonna lie. They looked small, and that's what it wasn't until like the midway point in that first quarter where they finally started to make adjustments. But that aside, yeah, we have this awesome depth. I would argue it's the best in the league, and that's why you see a guy like Pritchard and Cornett and Blake Griffin, high energy guy. That's really what he is at this point in his career. Playing in garbage time. But point being, don't trade Pritchard, not for Jakob Poeltl, who's going to play behind Al Horford and Rob Williams anyway. I really don't even foresee a trade that I want to make.
No, exactly, because when you look at it, and I think they're they're saying it's unlikely that the Celtics are going to make a trade by the deadline, and it makes sense because you look at it, there's no real holes on this team. Starting five is incredible. Our bench guys are great. We just have an incredible team all around. It's a great rotation, and we're so deep, and that's why we win a lot of games. That's why we lost a lot of games in the past, because of a lack of depth. Because, Horford, Tatum, Brown, that's all good and well. What comes next? And now we finally have depth. We have big men. It's kind of like our entire wish list from the past 5 years has come true this year for the first time ever. And it's so nice because right now in Boston sports, you don't really get that outside of the Celtics.
Outside of the Celtics, Boston sports does not show a willingness to spend. It does not show a willingness to address team needs.
We're looking at you, Matt Patricia.
Matt Patricia is gone. Team needs were addressed in that regard for the Pats. We'll get into that a little bit more. Although we recorded only on Tuesday, the last one, I totally forgot if we even covered the Pats and what even. This last week has been a bit of a blur, but we'll talk about it anyway. But you're right. The wish list of every year, it felt like we go into. This is the first year we're going into a deadline where I actually don't have any wants since I don't even know when, because even with the Kyrie Celtics, the Isaiah Thomas Celtics, the Kemba Walker Celtics, I always wanted. Those teams were never complete. This team feels complete. Health aside, which hasn't really been an issue this year. I mean, in the big picture, it hasn't been, at least. We'll see what happens with Smart and Williams over the next week. I think they'll be back here in a short time. Health aside, I think this is the most complete team we've had since 2009, 2010, since we traded Perkins. Is it fair to say that?
Yeah, don't mention that. I'm still upset about it.
You'll be all right.
Oh, but you get Nate Robinson.
He does cool dunks.
He's only 5'5", and he does dunks. And he almost dies jumping over Paul Pierce.
Yeah, that picture should be like it'll be the thumbnail for the YouTube.
Can that be our new show art?
I think that's fine. That's it.
Yeah,
that's good. We could Photoshop your face on a Nate Robinson, and I'll be Paul Pierce, and you'll be flying. Yeah.
Well, hold on.
We'll workshop.
Hold on, because this is a callback to episode 1. But no, see, okay, so we're going back to episode 1. No, I'm taller than you. Photographic evidence. I can post it if you want. If you want to be publicly shamed.
I just posted a photo of us at the Celtics game. What we can agree on is that Will is shorter than both of us in that photo and in real life. So
yeah,
we'll just call it there.
Hey, but you know what? We're okay with that because here at the Splash, we are short king allies.
We are short king.
We got you,
allies.
Will. We got your back, Will.
To an extent.
Oh, he liked that one.
I like that one. So I just got done dying on the hill of not being able to trade Pritchard. But you don't see a trade for us at all? I don't.
No, I don't see that happening. I think that would, not only do I know it would be a mistake, I think that they realize that would be a mistake, and then we're gonna, unless there's always a chance that someone offers us a deal that we just couldn't say no to. But outside of that happening, I don't see.
But I don't know what that looks like. What does that look like?
It would. I don't know. It would have to be a stupid pick haul for a player that we don't need. I don't know what it would look like.
If you can give me 2 firsts for Pritchard, okay, let's talk. Yeah, fine. But no, that's not going to happen.
Exactly.
And I don't know. I don't know of another player that we would even entertain trading. So, therefore, I am. It's a moot point.
I mean, I don't know. There's always some. There's always could be something like some team in the Hunt's power forward gets hurt. They want Blake Griffin, but I don't.
Can happen. Could.
Exactly. I don't think anything will happen.
How funny would it be though? In all the years that we've looked forward to the trade deadline, we count down till 3 or 4 o'clock, whenever it is. Remember that year? This was a long time ago.
When you left school,
we were like in what felt like serious talks for Paul George. And then I think it was my senior year of high school. I booked it out of class early so I could go home and watch like the ESPN trade deadline show. And then obviously nothing happened.
I remember
we make the smallest of moves. You know what did happen that day? I think Luke Ridnour got traded like 16 times. So
that was yeah. So that was cool. Yeah, I remember you told me you walked
fun.
into the office at your high school and were like, "Hey, I'm leaving." She's like, "That's it?
That was it.
Did you leave?" Yeah,
that was it.
Just go home.
At that age, you just check yourself out. I mean, that's it. And so I did, because I deemed that afternoon important enough, because I thought, finally, this is the year that Trader Danny makes the move for a star. Because years prior, we had been linked to Paul George. We had been linked to pretty much everybody. Blake Griffin. Remember all the Blake Griffin edits? And now we
got Blake Griffin.
We got Blake. It just
was... He does cool stuff sometimes.
It's not the same thing we thought we were getting.
Well, I don't know. He's proven to me that he's still a very valuable asset on this team.
It's better this way. I like this version of Blake more. And I think I would be so happy if we won him a ring this year. So, because he deserves it. Blake Griffin deserves to see the floor for the finals and deserves to get that championship ring that has eluded him for so long. With that being said, what else do we have for the Celtics? Let's take a peek into this week's upcoming schedule. Tomorrow night we have the Magic, who kicked our ass twice in a row. Still haven't really recovered from that, because
nope. There's no way to.
There's really not really a reason why we lost those games.
Even if we win the finals, we still lose because we lost to the Magic.
Yeah, kind of.
Yep.
That's kind of how it feels like, because there was no reason for us to lose those games. And that's what sparked the December plague of fire Missoula. We suck, oops, here we go. We're going to start spiraling.
While still being the 1 seed, keep in mind.
While still being the 1 seed, we still have not fallen out for the 1 seed this whole time, mind you.
We have such a fun fan base, especially on Twitter.
Mind you, Milwaukee is struggling. A tad. I mean, they're struggling by their standards. Brooklyn is now fallen quickly from this 2 seed all the way down to the 4 seed. They're now 6 games back. And we're not as plugged in to those fan bases, rightfully so. I don't see anything about fire Jacques Vaughn or fire Bucks coach, the guy with the bad hairline. Mike Budenholzer. I don't see any fire Bud. And what the hell has Bud done? Honestly. Okay, besides winning a ring in 20.
Yeah, he won the final.
Look, that finals didn't happen. That finals was not real to me. But I don't see any of that. And I know Missoula's new, but damn, we never fell out of the 1 seed. That being said, the Magic are a good young team, but Tatum is back tomorrow. I think we all know that right wrist soreness on the injury report in Toronto translated to he just played 48 straight minutes. He's going to sit this one out, which I'm fine with, especially considering he did mention that wrist, and he did mention the wrist last week in a press conference, which I'm not thrilled about. Feels inevitable. Feels inevitable that he's going to have to get surgery on that at some point. But if he can keep trucking along through this season, then he can take care of it in the summer.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
He'll be all right. He'll be all right. No Smart, though, guaranteed tomorrow. But this is the Magic, right? We're rolling 9 straight. We shouldn't be worried, right?
I don't know why you said that. Because last time we said that, whenever we've said anything on this podcast about, it's the Magic, I'm not worried. Oh, it's the Thunder, and they don't even have Shea. It's fine. It hasn't gone well for us, but it's the Magic, so it'll be fine. It's going to go better for us this time. 10 straight wins.
To their credit, the Magic do have 2 fantastic wing players in Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner.
Paolo Banchero.
I still don't think you know who Franz Wagner is. I don't think you believe he is real.
Yeah, Mo Wagner.
Yep. Funny enough, I didn't know if you knew this, but he plays for the Magic as well. The Wagner, they deemed Franz so important that they said, we'll go out and sign your brother, even though he's really not that good.
I'm just saying, have you ever seen them in the same room together? No.
Yep. Seen them on the same floor together. But it's okay, man. You're gonna figure it out. You're gonna figure it out.
You know.
Can you say the number one overall pick's name for me real quick?
Of which draft?
This most recent one, the Magic's number one overall pick.
Oh yeah. Do you want me to say it right?
I just want
I've
you
been
to
practicing.
I want you to say it how you say it. What's his name?
Oh, the way I said it, or do you want me to say it?
Yeah, the way you.
Do you want me to say it, or do you want me to say it?
I've only ever heard you say it one way.
Okay, so you want me to say it that way?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so the Magic, it's really cool. I love watching him play. He's a really great player. He's a fun guy to watch. Obviously deserving of the first pick of the draft. Paul Bancroft is doing really cool stuff. Yeah, he's a fantastic player. And I really enjoy watching him. I think he's going to have a special career.
For the first 6 months of the season, you just completely disrespected him by calling him Paul. if you mess up the last name, it's fine. Whatever. It's just it's tough. You could say it a million different ways, but the first name, you could mess it up too. You could say you could just pronounce it wrong.
Paulo?
You just went straight for Paul. That just rolled off the tongue to you.
It's good.
Thank God we don't have any players' names who are hard to pronounce on the Celtics, because I don't.
At least I didn't. At least I'm not a absolute diehard Spurs fan who unironically called Scoot Henderson Scott Henderson. At least I didn't do that.
Our buddy Mike.
Yep.
Said he would be okay if the Spurs drafted Scott Henderson.
I'd be okay with it too. I just don't deserve the hell
Scoot.
Scott Henderson.
You don't deserve Scoot. Fuck. Scoot. You don't deserve Scoot. Scott Henderson sounds good too. Just to be fair. Sounds better than Paul Banchero. Scoot Henderson. We're not even remotely involved in the draft lottery this year. Sucks to be involved in that with your own picks. But because I can't say that we've never experienced that. We've never been in the lottery in our lifetimes.
Marcus
early
Smart.
2000s, but I wasn't I couldn't read at that point. In the most prior decade.
Marcus Smart? Marcus Smart.
9th pick? What was he? 9th? How did we get that though?
Because we were bad.
Shit. Oh, 2013. Oh yeah. That was after the Rondo trade, right? Right?
Yeah, no. He was the 6th pick in 2014.
That might not have been our pick. Was that our pick though?
Yes. Well, I wish we had a producer.
Where did the Celtics finish in 2013? That's what I want to know.
It'd be fun. It'd be fun if we included Will's camera in the recording.
I'm actually not even seeing Will's camera.
He's being really toxic.
I have cautiously placed the notes above his face for fear that I will see him and
he's just doing some bad things.
For fear that I will see him. Doesn't matter. For the most part of our lifetime, we have not been in the lottery, but I would just like to say that give me Scoot Henderson over Wembanyama all day. That's it. Final thoughts on the Celtics this past week. Wrap up. You got anything?
Okay, so 2013 when the Celtics, before they drafted Marcus Smart, we finished 7th in the East. So yeah.
So it wasn't our pick then?
No.
Let's go.
So
Never
you were
lottery,
right,
then.
I guess.
That's good. Well, I just didn't remember us missing the playoffs outside of that one. I guess we did miss it once with Isaiah. Isaiah must have gone down. It doesn't matter. we're in much.
I think it was
territory.
when Isaiah was 6-man.
Yeah. Before we made him,
we have gotten off on a tangent here.
Before we made him the best point guard in the NBA that season, that was quite an era. We were talking about how we're gonna absolutely beat the brakes off of the Magic. We got the Heat on Tuesday night. Hate to see a big matchup on the backside of a back-to-back. Although that's the second time the NBA's done that to us the past 2 weeks. They put us in that Nets game on a back-to-back. Kind of annoying because, then I hope Al Horford takes off tomorrow so he's available for Tuesday because we got to watch old man Al take care of himself. Knicks Thursday. Let's run through the week.
Let's run through the week.
Tomorrow with the Magic. No Smart, maybe no Williams. Outcome? Win, loss, draw?
I think we win. If we lose, it's the most okay I'll be about losing to the Magic this year, just because of who we have out.
Yeah,
but
guess.
I still think we'll win.
But I feel like we're just in another stratosphere right now with the 9 straight. I think we've obviously, with our record, we've obviously ripped off long streaks, but I would like a really defining double-digit win streak. Get us, I want to see us get into that 15 to 18 win range. Like that.
Well, you deserve it.
Those teams always, I just want a special run, because I feel like every time we have a title team, there's always a run that kind of defined a turning point for them. And I think we are in the midst of that right now as we've battled our own insufficiencies as fans, calling for the firing of our head coach, even though we were the 1 seed. Anyway, Heat on Tuesday in Miami.
If we have Rob, it's a win. If not, I see us having issues with Bam Adebayo, and that's gonna be tough. But I think we can win that one.
I think we can win it either way. Miami is not the same. They are struggling immensely to find some consistency. Kyle Lowry has fallen off the face of the earth, which is good to see. I might be projecting. That might be a little rude, but I'm also not a big Kyle Lowry fan. Also not a big Jimmy Butler guy. Fan.
Really?
But you knew that. He's on my naughty list. Knicks on Thursday. We finally come home in Boston, facing the Knicks. Knicks surging.
Give me the win.
You got us with the win on that one.
I got us winning. We're defending home court.
All right. Don't pull that accent out again. Lakers on Saturday. LeBron in the hunt for breaking the record. Primetime game. Gonna be plastered all over the telly. Boston, LA. Scrappy LA team. LeBron fighting for his life every night. We played them well the first time. We had maybe arguably the game of the year in overtime. Personally, I see a blowout. I don't think they're going to hang with us that night.
Nope.
At home, we are on a roll. We're on a tear. I don't see it. I don't see them.
I feel like I'm giving caveats to all these games, but yeah, I think we win, and we win by a lot. The only thing stopping that would be LeBron James, but
sure.
LeBron can single-handedly guide a team to victory on any given night, but I think that the Celtics, the best team in the NBA, is a little too much to overcome. LeBron has always had this thing against Boston, but I feel like, you know what? I feel like him being an owner of the Red Sox has really made him appreciate a new side of this city, and I think we win. I think we win.
I'm gonna say something that feels good. We're playing LeBron and the Lakers on Saturday, and we in 2023 are going to have the best player in that game.
That's crazy.
Feels nice. feels nice to play against LeBron and say your team has the best player in that game.
I mean, how many people have been able to say that?
I mean, I still think LeBron's top. I think he's top 10. I think he's probably closer to top 6, 7. But I mean, Tatum has reached another level at this point. I wouldn't have said that last year. But especially when you consider the two-way play.
Yeah. Passing of the torch
Tatum.
moment for sure on Saturday.
Passing of the torch moment on Saturday. And then that's it. That's the last game until all the way till next Wednesday. Looks like we get Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off. I was gonna say, is that the All-Star break? But it's definitely not.
No, it's just good.
It's just a nice run of rest for a team that's been playing some tough games. And we're gonna need it. Looking forward to that. So by my math, I think we gave ourselves wins over the next 4 games. So by then we would have a 13-game win streak.
Give it to me.
Give it to me. I'll take it.
I'm ready for it. I need it. Jason, I need
ready
it.
for it. That's a high note to close out on the Celtics. Like I said, I'm really totally forget. Do you remember what we talked about with the Pats last week?
Yeah, I think we talked a little bit about the draft and then the offensive coordinator search that was getting underway. I know at this point, the Bill O'Brien interview has happened, and I'm not as low on that as I was a week ago. I think that O'Brien is a good offensive coordinator in the NFL. I know that there's been a lot of talk on Twitter, and there was a couple of videos posted. Of Bill O'Brien, just like there was this infamous moment back in 2009 or 2010, whichever it was, of him going at it on the sideline with Tom Brady, getting in his face, yelling at each other. And I kind of like that because there's passion there, there's butting heads, there's a lot of opportunity for growth through that conflict, and I think that Mac Jones would benefit under Bill O'Brien. And so I don't despise the move anymore, and I think that more than likely that's what's going to happen. Cliff Kingsbury is away in Thailand doing whatever he is doing in Thailand. I don't think I can speak on it any further than that. And otherwise, I don't really know who we're looking at or who we're interviewing. I know there's been a few names flying around. The most important thing to me is that Matt Patricia is gone. We can actually get a legitimate offensive coordinator. And I think if you give Mac Jones an offensive coordinator and a couple more weapons, just someone to throw the ball to, I think you're going to be in a lot better position. Mac showed us what he could do in his rookie year. He was pretty good, helped us get to the playoffs, but also this team is built for him to need to just be pretty good because the defense is great. I think the defense is only going to take a step up next season. And yeah, you got a decent offensive line, you got good running backs. Just give him someone to throw the ball to, give him someone to actually draw up plays, and I think you'll be okay. And I think that ultimately Bill O'Brien can do that job.
You sold me.
There you go.
You sold me a little bit. I'm still not loving it. But I think we both know it's a step forward either way. A step forward from this year where at times Mac looked lost, and I don't know if I am giving him that blame. I feel like some of that is due to the obviously shoddy and shaky play calling that was featured throughout the Patriots offense all year long. I think the Pats and the Bucks were competing for how incompetent each offense could look week to week. Ultimately, the Bucks just get the better end of the stick by being in the NFC South. However, you sold me a little bit. And I know Cliff Kingsbury is going to be the offensive coordinator for all 32 teams if you check like Twitter rumors, but there's a chance he doesn't even have interest in coaching next season.
He's still going to be in Thailand. He's got a lot to do there, a lot of ground to cover. He's going to be coordinating some things offensively over there.
Yes, he is.
And I wish him all the best. He's a great coach. He's done a lot of good for a lot of good people. A lot of players have benefited from him, and he's taking so much into rest. He's doing some things that it's a passion project, if you will, a passion trip. There's a couple of really neat things about Thailand that you don't get necessarily here in America, and I think that's I think it's going to be very good for him. He can come back when he's ready with a clear head, and he'll have a job waiting for him.
He does have a lot of ground to cover. Definitely. Couple of important points to tackle, if you will. Congrats to Coach Cliff Kingsbury. You're right. It's easy to dump on him, but he's helped a lot of guys in college and then in the NFL. I mean, it's Kyler Murray's own fault for not being able to just to get off the damn game and blossom in that offense. No, not really. He's not perfect, but neither are the Cardinals or those rosters, and it'd be interesting to see him get another chance.
Yeah.
That being said, I'm kind of remembering we talked a little bit of Mac Jones last week. Right here, though, I don't want to really dwell on it. I just want to get an idea of what you're thinking long term. Does Mac Jones win a Super Bowl with the Patriots? Not next year, just generally speaking. Thoughts on long-term success?
I could see that. I could.
Oh, I wish your video was working for this.
Oh, you'll be able to see it in post. Yeah. Yep. I can. I could see. I could see that happening. Okay. Here we go. Rein it back in. I could see Mac Brown. No, fuck. I could see Mac. Okay, hold on. We're leaving this in, by the way. Oh, hell.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Really good behind the scenes stuff here.
Yeah. So Mac Jones. All right. I could see Mac Jones as long as he has a good defense, good coaches to develop under, and what he's needed this whole time, which is weapons. I could see the Patriots winning a Super Bowl with Mac Jones at the helm. It really depends on staff and other personnel they surround him with, because I really feel like Mac Jones in the right situation can take a lot of steps forward, and he has a much higher ceiling than what people are expecting from him. And I think that, this guy's a Pro Bowler, and maybe there's an asterisk there, maybe there's not, but at the end of the day, he's never going to be Tom Brady. He's never going to be Drew Brees, Peyton Manning. But I think that he could be Phillip Rivers. And I think if you put Phillip Rivers in the right situation, he wins a Super Bowl. I feel like that's fair to say.
Is Phillip Rivers today better than Mac Jones today?
Don't. Why would you ask me that question?
I'm sorry. That's really bad.
Yeah, but no, you see where I'm coming from. I think that he can be a very, very solid quarterback at this level if he's given the opportunity and the tools.
He's going to have a long career. I think I don't know. It feels weird. I don't know what his ceiling is. I think he can definitely live up to a Kirk Cousins type who, I like Captain Kirk. Say what you will about Kirk. I think he can have that type of career. I think he could have a better career than that. I don't know. I feels really optimistic to say yes to the question I posed, being that, can he win a Super Bowl here? feels very optimistic, very homerish, but after his rookie season, the Pro Bowl season, we would have said that for sure. We would have easily said, of course he could. I think it's just the bad taste that this offense put in our mouth this last year that has derailed those positive thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, Lamar Jackson,
dude, don't.
Still out there.
Won't happen. Not going to happen.
As is DeAndre Hopkins, which I think actually could.
Don't get my hopes up, boy.
Could and should happen. Just saying.
Don't get my hopes up, kid.
He and Bill got the love fest going on. The Cardinals are clearly in another world now. They're trying to tank. I would hope. We'll see.
We'll see.
Off season for the Pats coming up, I hope.
It will be. It should be. And if it's not, buckle up for an early off season. Again. I'm used to Patriots games in January. It's weird.
Used to it.
Very weird.
Loved it. You think I wanted to watch the Cowboys tonight with Brett Maher, who misses everything, and then Dak Prescott, who throws picks on seemingly every other drive? Dak Prescott, by the way, not a top 10 quarterback.
No. Dak Prescott is a pretty good quarterback who's never going to get you there.
Nope. Not hearing it. Not top 10. Sorry.
Also, I'm gonna take your take and I'm gonna raise you one. I'm gonna say if you put healthy Jimmy Garoppolo on the Cowboys, they're much more of a Super Bowl contender. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. That's not a hot take.
I don't think it's a hot.
No, because Jimmy G doesn't make mistakes. He's not going to lose you a football game. He may not win you a football game.
He may not win you one, but he's not going to lose you one. He's the kind of guy you need pieces around. I think he was going to thrive in the 49ers setup.
Yeah. Actually, Will, can you pull up Jimmy Garoppolo's efficiency? I feel like it's probably pretty high in the league.
I feel like it's pretty high. I feel like it's pretty mediocre, but I know he's not he's not a turnover machine, and Dak Prescott has been this whole season. He missed 4 starts due to injury, and he led the league in interceptions. Inexcusable. Not top 10. Sorry. I don't like guys who turn the ball over.
No, especially with the offensive line, the running back core, and the wide receivers he has.
Yeah. You've been gifted so much.
Also, he does not know how to slide when he's scrambling. Have you ever seen that? Go look it up.
Seen him slide? Oh, third down. I was going to say that's it. Garoppolo, 19 of 28, all on third downs.
Yeah, 103 rating. That 54.4 QBR. Okay, well, but
yeah, well.
All right. Well, all right. So he's mid. But
mid.
But you know what though?
Turnovers.
He's mid. But yeah, exactly. He doesn't make the mistakes that lose you football games, and there may not be a stat for that, but it passes the eye test. Also he was playing injured most of the season.
He doesn't make the devastating mistakes that Dak made several times tonight.
Yep.
Even, and I'm not grouping Josh Allen in with Dak Prescott, but Josh Allen does that as well. You know, he makes sometimes those really devastating mistakes that are hard to come back from. And the Bills, the darling of the NFL this season, at least going into the year. Remember when some people were saying, really just the talking heads on ESPN, could the Bills go 17-0? Like, that was never a possibility.
No.
And they didn't, and they were not the best team today.
No, and they had a divisional exit at home in the snow.
In the snow, you should win. This is a game you should win. If you don't win, it's a game you should be in. And they were not in this game from
not at
the
all.
start.
And I think Burrow's amazing, and we all know that. But I'm taking Burrow over Josh Allen at this point.
Burrow was really good in the snow today. Just was. And I'm not the biggest Burrow guy. We talked about it. We're like, I'm a medium Burrow guy. If I could be on 1 to 10 on the Burrow scale, I'm probably at a 5. Maybe after day.
I'm medium on Shiesty.
Strong 6.
I'm medium on Shiesty.
Don't say Shiesty. That's probably why I'm not so high. I don't like all the cornball nicknames and
Oh, come on.
know.
Snowborough? Come on.
Oh, okay. That one's good. That one's good. Snowborough, Joe Shiesty. Snow Shiesty? Thoughts?
You might have just done some. You might have not, but you might have done something. I don't know. I wasn't there, but
we're gonna workshop it this week.
Yep, it'll be fine.
But that's it for the NFL. That's it for this week of The Splash. I have been your host. Ryan has been my darling co-host. I'm sorry, Ryan. Go ahead.
Yeah.
This is. I know.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. You know what you did. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on this week's episode of The Splash. If you made it this far and you enjoyed what you heard and what you saw, be sure to leave us a 5-star rating and to review us on whatever you're listening to us on. It really helps us out. It really helps get us out to more people. Share us with your friends. Check us out on social media at The Splash Pod, Instagram, maybe Twitter at some point. We have a website, thesplashpodcast.com, and as always, thank you so much for joining us. We talked a lot about the Celtics, a little bit about the Pats, had a segment with some really highbrow stuff. Hope you enjoyed it. And as always, this episode was brought to you by CTT. Check it out on our Instagram page. Thank you all very much. I've been Ryan, he's been Spencer, and we will see you next week.